We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I thought they were kind of evil, but then I didn't think to myself that if part of it's evil, then all of it's evil. And so I was reading the other parts of the book, but ignoring the parts that I thought were too evil. This is where, the contact started happening. Meeting dream characters or entities while I was sleeping. At first, it was kind of positive. I got good messages. And then it turned into what you could call like alien abductions. I started believing that during my dreaming, I had contacted higher intelligence of life, like aliens or something. They were acting as spiritual guides. I remember looking up on the internet spiritual guides. I was so curious about it, but then it started to turn negative. The experiences started to turn negative. I went through medical examinations. I felt like in these abductions, I thought a piece of my brain was taken out, and I really believe that they performed like sexual acts on me, and I had a needle stuck in my stomach to extract something. And I was looking up all these weird things on the internet, like what could this possibly be? When these abductions were happening, it started to get really negative and affect my mood. I became really agitated and started to get paranoid. And then like something else traumatic happened. So all this trauma, and I'm trying to like figure it out on my own. My paranoia started ramping up. And I was sure someone was following me. And I don't know if this was PTSD from all the traumatic events I had experienced. I was trying to solve my PTSD by counseling and lucid dreaming, alcohol, dating lots of men. And then one of these nights, it turned from a dream into an actual visitation in my sleep. I knew that my mood was shifting. Like I knew that there was something like not right, but I couldn't really tell what it was. Yeah, so far this had only been happening what I thought was my dreams, although it felt really realistic, and some would think it would be more than dreams. But yeah, then one night I woke up, and I woke up out of a deep sleep, and I was staring at my closet walls. It was right next to my bed, and it had eyes. Afraid. And my second feeling was, oh, they're here, like these beings from my dream, they're in my room. And then I got kind of curious. I could only see the projections of the profile on my closet doors. And they had big black almond eyes. And it's so interesting because this is how these black eyes were still staring at me. And there was 3 sets. I asked, kind of unconsciously, but still awake, I was like, why are you here? And what I heard was like a series of beeping, and I swore that I was hearing like a alien language, and these beings were speaking to me kind of telepathically. They were kind of blinking every once in a while, and they said adaptive. It was a lot of hours I spent staring at my closet walls at these beings. They seemed to be guiding me, judging me, helping me move forward in trauma, like what I was seeking. They showed me projections of puzzles, wanted me to solve them. At one point, the three of them were together, and they asked if I believed they were God. And I said no. And this is when they started mocking me, telling me that I must be religious. They said I could ask one question. So I asked how they got there, which I meant like how they get in my room, because this was all very overwhelming. I'm like, what's happening? Images were flashing on my wall of evolution, and then I rejected it, and then another image flashed on my wall of the Big Bang, and I rejected that. The projections on my wall continued with puzzles, and one turned into a huge yin-yang symbol. And I rejected that. And I was wondering, what are they trying to get me to believe? Like, this is a spiritual experience that I'm experiencing, and like these different symbols. So after like a bunch of puzzles and testing and just being overwhelmed with the visual and auditory aspect of all this, of thinking how powerful these beings were, after hours and hours, these beings, they turned against me. And I started feeling really horrific. The beings started accusing me of crimes I'd never committed telepathically. And it was just utter, it was torment. I felt like a prisoner being tormented. So then they counted down to my death, and I felt like, you know, they were telling me, they were like, you need to say you did these accusations, and or we'll kill you. I felt as though like a bomb was being put in my stomach. My hands were feeling hot. At this point, I could start smelling smoke. They started counting down. This part's kind of hard for me to talk about, but because it's like, this was the worst part. They were counting down from 10, and I started panicking. Got to 9, and I thought I was gonna explode in my room, and my mom and son were gonna find me dead. Luckily, my mom had been visiting me at the time, and looking back on it, you know, God probably knew this was gonna happen, and my mom was there so she could be in the darkest hour, in the time of my most need. So the countdown continues, and I got to 8. You know, I want to be old, and I want to be an old and a grandmother, and see my son's future. And then 7, 6, 5, I started screaming for my mom to call an ambulance. I was certain I was going to die at this point. 4, 3, 2. The only thing I had left to do, I knelt down by my bed and I prayed, Jesus, I need a miracle. You're the only one who knows me and my soul are right with you. You're the only one who can save me. Please, Jesus, please save me. And then it completely stopped. I heard the mocking voices saying, Jesus saved you. And I started crying and screaming. Well, looking back on it, if you're not seeking God for your answers and you're seeking another source, if it's not a good source, it's an evil source. And there's no gray area with good and evil.